Tour Junkies.
What's going on, golf addicts? Welcome to the Tour Junkies podcast for the WGC 2022 Dell Match play from Austin Country Club. DB here, Pat Perry with me. The podcast juice is flowing, baby. I got that tequila. You still sipping on that Blue Moon?
A little Blue Moon this evening. It's very tasty.
Listen, this is an important show because the WGC Match play is weird, okay? And on DraftKings, it presents weird things. Weird scoring, weird ways to make lineups, and you're confused and you don't want to play it. But actually, I think you should embrace it. This is a good thing. There are people that are not going to quite understand how to build lineups and how they can shoot themselves in the foot on DraftKings by picking players from the same groups or players from the same kind of like sections of the bracket. So we're going to talk through that here right off the bat. As always, we're presented to you by our friends at fantasynational.com. Head over to fantasynational.com/TJ to get 20% off any membership level. Weekly, monthly, or annual memberships are available. So you can try it weekly with the 20% off. And then you say, man, I love this. And you can upgrade it to monthly or annual membership. And you still get to keep the 20% off. Masters is right around the corner. All the majors are going to be here before you know it. You're going to need the Fantasy National website. It's everything you need. Course history, recent form, stats, lineup builders, optimizers, ownership projections, head-to-head matchup tools. All the data is straight from the PGA Tour. ShotLink license data. It's good. We've been using these guys for over 4 years. They're the best. fantasynational.com/TJ for 20% off is where you got to go. All right, people. Pat, I'm excited about this. Now, we don't have producer Sam tonight. We went over on the betting show. That's what happens when producer Sam's not with us. We just keep going.
He's not keeping us on track.
So we don't have producer Sam tonight. So we're back using our former Ratchet software for the show. Hopefully we don't have any technical difficulties. We actually didn't on the betting show, which is crazy, but we did go long. So bear with us tonight. I'm excited about tonight's show. We are going to get right into it though and talk about the strategy to this event. I do want to congratulate the Donkeys, who won the Nut Hut Listener League last week for the Valspar, earning himself a spot in the finals and a chance to win a trip to Augusta or Savannah to play a weekend golf trip with me and you. He scored 535 points. Good for you, sir. And I also want to let at Hefe DeBomb, at Wahlberg Justin, at FW Stacks, at John Coman 3, and at Tripga. I want to let you guys know, since you commented on the YouTube channel, on the YouTube videos last week, you are going to get a Masters shirt, Masters 2020 t-shirt shipped to you, but you have to email info@tourjunkies.com with your information, name, address, preferred shirt size, although we only have XLs and larges, but we told you that last week. Email us as soon as possible. The first ones to get it in will get your right size to you, but after that, we can't promise you get anything other than an XL or a large. But thank you for commenting on the YouTube video. We appreciate that. See, sometimes we've been handing out free Nut Hut memberships for YouTube. Yeah. And sometimes you just never know. The YouTube comments help us. They help promote the show on YouTube. So if you're watching right now, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and leave a comment. I would be interested to know. I asked this on the betting show. What's some content you want to see out early for the Masters preview? What can I do for you in the next week about the Masters? What do you want to see? DraftKings related, betting related, just Augusta National in general related? What can I do for you? Let me know. I'm interested. Also, I'm having this debate with someone, so this is just for me personally. I would like to know how many times a year you play golf. How many rounds a year do you play golf? This is completely unrelated to anything I'm having with Pat. This has nothing to do with Pat, but I'm having a debate with someone else. How many times a year do you play golf? Put that in the comments if you can't think of anything else to say. All right, Pat, from a DraftKings strategy and approach standpoint, this is critical. Let me see if I can. Actually, maybe I'll just pull up. I wasn't going to pull up these graphics, but maybe I will. First of all, let's look at this. And this is going to be a wonky graphic, but it is what it is. This is the point structure for scoring on DraftKings. If you're watching on YouTube.
That's a fantastic graphic.
No, good?
You did really good with this one.
It's just a screenshot. So it is a little different than what we're used to seeing in terms of birdies and pars and that kind of stuff. You get 3 points for winning a hole, so that's like a birdie. You get both players get plus 0.75 points or minus 0.75 points for holes halved. Actually, minus 0.75 points for holes lost. If you don't play a hole because you won your match, you get plus 1.6 points. Matches won gets 5. Matches halved gets 2. And then you do get a streak of 3 consecutive holes won in a match, which is hard to do, at 5 points, and no holes lost in a match bonus of plus 7.5 points. So that's just the scoring structure. Something to think through. I don't think that's as big a deal as the other things we're going to talk about, which is optimizing your lineup and ownership. Now, we
Yeah.
also talked about the stats thing, right, Pat? You want to talk about that?
The stats?
Like how you just it's not a week for that. Like we don't need to get bogged down with that.
Well, I had 2 things really, but I could start with the stats. I agree. I don't think you get too bogged down with the stats. I think when you're looking at match play, there's a lot of different factors that are involved here. There are guys that just have the match play mentality. Kiz has shown that. I mean, a guy like Kisner finished second here and then ends up winning the tournament. That's not just dumb luck. It's because he's a guy that likes match play. For one, you have to like match play. You have to be a guy that has sort of that mentality to, even when you're down, to still want to fight and scratch and claw to try and win. And I think, though, putting is a stat that I do like this week, but long-term putting, because I want guys that just tend to putt well and can just throw those daggers on somebody like Sam Burns did last week to win the golf tournament and just walk off the course with throwing in a 40-footer or whatever that was.
Yeah.
That's what you want. And so, like, if you get into the 2-minute, yes, this is a golf course where, ball strikers do well, whatever, blah, 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 blah. Like, I think I want to go with the other factors, the guys that have good match play records historically. Guys that we've had a few years on this course now. So we know what guys have done on this course with their records in match play. So we can even look at that. But I'm just not going to get really bogged down into strokes gained off the tee or, approach or scrambling or whatever else. It's just not something I think that matters a ton.
Yep, 100%. I total agreement there. Match play record matters, mindset, mentality, all that stuff matters. I like the long-term putting thing that you talked about, being able to drop those on an opponent. It can really take the air out of them in a match play situation. Experience in match play, experience here in match play matters. We'll talk through that. Yeah, I agree. I think all that stuff matters more. This is not a week. In other words, this is not a week where like you build a model and you just. I don't think it is. Match
no, here's the model I think you build. Actually, here's how you help yourself this week. And this may sound really basic, but I do. It helped me. So, and I can be a little basic sometimes, especially when it comes to golf. Go through the bracket. Go through the bracket and fill one out. Fill several out. Familiarize yourself with who is in each group. Go through the bracket to choose your winner, like you do with the tournament, with the NCAA, March Madness. Go in and fill out a few brackets. That way. Here's what you're gonna learn. You're gonna learn, 1, who's all in all the groups, okay, and then 2, who are your favorites out of those groups, and then how is that drilled down as far as the winners are concerned? Because that's what you got to do in DFS this week. You got to pick the guy. You can't have guys in the same groups, okay? That's not going to work for you in your GPP lineups. You got to get guys that are winning matchups and that are winning holes. And so I think that if you just do that to start out, I think that'll kind of help you drill down. Okay, well, where do I want to go from there as far as how I want to structure my lineups?
Yeah, so let's talk through some of the basics of this. So it's 64 players. You got 16 groups. It's round robin style, 4 guys in each group. So the first, also, this all starts on Wednesday, by the way. So lineup lock is Wednesday. So you need to know that if the winner is going to play seven matches, I think 7 matches, and that those first few days are kind of a grind for these guys. They're going to play every member of their group. So you're trying to get. This is what you got to do. You got to think, what is the optimal way that I can build a lineup? Obviously the most optimal is that you have all 4 players. You have 4 of 6 that make it to the final 4, which I think is very hard to do. Extremely hard to do.
Wait a second, you blew my mind there. Four of
you can,
6.
the best that you can do when they get to the final four is obviously 4 of 6, Pat, because there's only 4 golfers left. So 4 of
Oh,
6.
4 of 6. Okay, yeah, 4. I thought you like yeah. I
Okay.
was like, wait a second, there can't be
Okay.
6 players in the final 4. But
Nope,
now I
only 4 players in the final 4. But if
now I
you
get you
have
because
4
you're
of them,
taking 6 guys in DFS. I
you
got you
are
now.
probably winning if you have 4 of 6. Okay.
Yeah,
Now,
if you do,
now,
you're gonna win.
now, the next best thing that you can do is to have 6 of the Elite 8. And I'm saying Elite 8 because I can't get March Madness out of my brain. The PGA Tour is not calling it that. They call the Elite 8 freaking round 6 semifinals. Okay. Well,
Yeah, whatever.
that's annoying. No, they call it, sorry, round 5. They call it round 5 quarterfinals. My bad.
Can we just say round of 16 quarterfinals,
I want to say
semifinals,
Elite 8.
finals?
I want to say Elite 8. So anyway,
That's
the
like you're
next,
saying like that's what you want to say, or
yes, that's what I want to say. The next best thing you can do is to have all 6 of your guys make it to the Elite 8, right?
yes,
That
yeah,
is the next best thing you can do. If you can do that, you're doing really good, okay? You can't do that though. So what we're saying is you can't do that if you don't think about where in the bracket your players are coming from as you plug them in to your lineups. You cannot simply stare at the DraftKings prices and start plugging in the names that you like and the values that you like, because you have to understand where they're coming from on the board. Let me pull up a couple groups just as an example. And we walk through these groups
yeah.
extensively on the betting show, but I'll just pull this up. All right, so here's group 1 and 16. All right, they're playing each other. This is in the top left corner of your bracket. It's John Rahm's group and it's Brooks Koepka's group. All right, if I'm building a lineup, first of all, you are shooting yourself you're shooting yourself in the wiener. Okay, there's 2 places you're
In
going to
the
shoot yourself.
weenie.
There's 2 places you're going to shoot yourself. You're going to shoot yourself in this thing if you screw this up. One is the wiener and one is your foot. Which one would you rather shoot yourself in? The wiener or the foot? Personally, the foot for me. Okay. If you want to shoot yourself in the wiener, you play 2 guys in a DraftKings lineup out of the same group. Okay. So let's just say you go, oh, I gotta have John Rahm. I gotta have him.
Yeah.
He's just the best. But I love how cheap
Cam Young.
Cam Young.
Cam
Cam Young,
Young's been playing well.
he's been playing so good. And how much is he pay? He's $7,000. Man, look at the price savings.
Oh, and what else can I fit in after that?
Yeah.
I'll
But
put in. Hey, I can probably fit in Brooks Koepka.
yeah,
Now I got 3 guys.
now you shot yourself in the wiener and the foot. Okay. So let's take one step at a time here. The reason you shot yourself in the wiener is because John Rahm and Cam Young are in the same group. Only one is going to advance to the Sweet 16. So now you have eliminated, you've already given yourself one guy out of there for the sweet, that can't make, that can't advance, right? That is really dumb. So don't do that. None of your DraftKings lineups need to have 2 players from the same group. None of them. 0 of them. But there are people that will do this, and those people you can look at as basically paying your fees, your rake fees. All right. The way that you shoot yourself in the foot is by playing 2 players in this same little quadrant that we're looking at. So, for example, group 1 and 16 that we see here on the board, those 2 groups are playing. The winner of those groups are going to play each other. If you play John Rahm and then you say, "Man, I love the value on Shane Lowry," and you play Shane Lowry, you're also shooting yourself somewhat. Now, yes, John Rahm and Shane Lowry can both advance and they can meet each other in the Sweet 16, but guess what? Only one is making it to the Elite 8. Thus, you're removing another out for you to get a player, 6 of 6 through to the Elite 8. So you're hurting yourself there. So in your DFS lineups, you have to think through, the players that I'm selecting have to come from different quadrants of the bracket. I think I explained that well, Pat. Do you have anything else to add on that? Are we
No,
there? Maybe the people in the chat, let us know if this makes any sense to you right now.
no, I think. I mean, it makes absolute sense. I mean, you can't. One of the things when they first started this event was they didn't used to have these groups, and so all you really had to do was just try to, you
Yeah.
wanted to just pick matchups and do whatever. But it's changed a lot. So I think there's actually I like the fact that we have this little added strategy to it that I think there is going to be a lot of people that just don't pay attention to that, and they look at pricing like they always do, every week in DraftKings, and they're going to miss out on the fact that it's just a whole different thing. So I agree, and
Nita is saying in the chat that it's making sense. That's good. Good to know. But Nita's pretty smart. She's really sharp. So maybe some of the more simple folks in the chat. Could Josh Kistler chime in? Maybe. Kistler, let us know if that's made sense to you. We know if it made sense to you, then we can move on. That would be really helpful.
Let's get the Kistler stamp of approval.
Yeah.
For this.
Yeah. By the way, a couple of announcements. We do have a DP World Tour and a Corn Ferry Tour show coming out this week. Hopefully, Mark Hill's voice is back and Garrett gets the show out before they tee off. That'd be cool on the Corn Ferry Tour. And also, if you're wondering about Corrales, we are not doing a Corrales show. We're not doing Corrales breakdown. All the Corrales content will be funneled through the Nut Hut. So added incentive for you to join the Nut Hut, the Discord server. You can get in for free and look around and enjoy some of the benefits of the Nut Hut, but not all. You can't unlock all of them. You can unlock all of them for just $10 a month or $90 a year. It's that simple. So the Corral stuff will be in the Nut Hut. We've got multiple caddies, multiple player friends that are there. We're already hearing some things from the Dominican Republic. That's a fun event. Our buddy Joel Damon and Gino, defending champs there, have already sent us a few little pieces of info. It's long shot season, baby. I love that. I love that event. That's going to be fun. So, but the DraftKings contests they're okay, but they're not great. So
yeah,
if you want the Corrales stuff, you got to get in the Nut Hut. And it looks like Chris Kistler said we're good. He says,
speaking of Kistler, he's Team Pat, by the way. We got an event, DB, that we need to make sure everybody knows about.
Yeah, the live golf event September is heating up. Team Pat versus Team DB is heating up. I think there are 5 or 6 spots left on your team for the 2-day Friday and Saturday event.
Yeah, there was some,
moving around,
some jostling going on last week that I don't know if I liked a whole lot of what was going on. We had certain people saying, "Hey, why don't you switch my brother, quote unquote, over into this team? Who's a scratch golfer."
I mean, it's what it is. I've got like 9 spots left on my team, and you've got 5 or 6. So people, let's get moving. Let's lock those up. That's going to be a great time. You're not going to want to miss it. And when those spots are filled, they're gone. So check that out. The link's in the description of the podcast and on the YouTube video. All right, Pat. Let's get to some picks. Let's talk through the picks here. Where's my sheet here? All right. So let's look at the 10K range. We're gonna just look at the 10K range. John Rahm, Scheffler, JT, Morikawa, Hovland, Cantlay, and DJ. Obviously, the first handful of these guys are all coming out of different groups. Okay, so you can play 2 of these guys as long as they are not in the same brackets, upper little quadrants. You know what I mean? So playing trying to find an example here. Playing Cantlay.
Played Cantlay and Rahm. They're not going to meet until the Final Four.
Yeah, you can play them. I was looking at nope, that's not one. Where? Maybe there's not one in the 10. I'm just looking at the 10K range. Xander and Louis. Nope, that's in 9K. Hovland. No. Okay, so no. So anybody in the 10K, you could pair with anybody. Two 10K. You could play 2 10K guys if you wanted to. For me, this is pretty clear. I'm playing one guy in this range, in the 10K range, and it's Dustin Johnson coming out of Group 8. He's got to run through Mackenzie Hughes, Max Homa, Matthew Wolff. Matthew Wolff feels like a free square at this point. Mackenzie Hughes is a free square because I can't stand that guy, and I never understand why he gets any love, and he continues to just miss cuts. Homa's the only one that really scares me, so I'm definitely leaning DJ here, and I hate to kind of skip around in the ranges, but I think it's going to be hard not to. But I'll say this. Another group that I think there's a very clear guy that I like there from a value standpoint is in the group that DJ plays against if he advances, and that's Group 9, and that's Taylor Gooch. So Taylor Gooch is in Group 9 playing against Bryson DeChambeau, and he's $7,700. He's in form. He's cheap. I love that value, but I can't play DJ and Taylor Gooch in the same lineup, or I'm shooting myself in the foot. Okay, that's a foot shot there.
Yeah.
So I will either be playing DJ or Gooch lineups, and I'll get to who I will go. I mean, Rom is interesting because I do think Rom's little group is somewhat simple for him, but DJ's the one I feel the best about.
All right. Well, Cantlay for me is the one I feel the best about at 10-2. I do think there's going to be a little bit. I think DJ might have less ownership than Cantlay, but I'm okay with that. Ownership is a whole different strategy discussion in itself with a lot of this, and I
Yeah.
think that there's a lot of different factors that we can look at. Not only are we having to look at groups, we're also having to look at where they fall in the bracket, but then we're also having to think about ownership as well. So there's a lot of different things right now. We don't have an idea of ownership at all right now. So
Yeah.
we really can't even talk about that. I do feel like Cantlay could have, a little bit, and I think it gets spread out a little bit in this event too. So we'll just have to see. And I wonder too, like what are even like because it's such a different type of event, like how good are the ownership projections that we're even looking at? Depending on what site we're on. I don't know. I don't really know because it's not a science or stat that they're looking at every week with whatever their algorithms are for ownership because it's different.
I mean, you're talking about ownership, and I'm seeing people. Dylan's asking about DJ going to be chalky, and I mean, here's the thing: DJ's record here at Austin is 12-8-1. That's 21 matches that he's played just at Austin. That doesn't count his President's Cup and Ryder Cup experience. Max Homa's 2-1-0, Matthew Wolff is 1-1-1, and Mackenzie Hughes is 2-1-1. Like, he's got overwhelming experience here at Austin, overwhelming experience in match play in general. Let's all be honest, like, he's still the head and shoulders best player out of those four, and it's not even close, okay? I just think I don't care. There are a couple groups here that I think are there's a clear guy, and I don't care if that's the chalk. I just really don't. Like, I'll just play that, and I will make up for it somewhere else. I'll continue to build my lineup without shooting myself anywhere on my body, and that will also help things, and we'll move on. So if DJ's chalky, I don't care. And the next guy that I'm going to tell you I'm going to pick is also going to be chalky, and I don't care. So go ahead, finish up.
Well, so I'll say, I think probably the next guy you may talk about if we're going down into the 9K range is going to be Xander.
Yep.
I think Xander's going to be chalky because of the group that he's in and the path that he has. So I feel like, but I'm okay with that. I'll play him. Now, there's some guys up there too that we can get to that, like I'm trying to stick in the ranges, but then I start to look at, well, who is he going to get later on down the line that I might also like as well. But I think that if we're just talking about 9K guys that we like, I think Xander has a chance to make to have a good long run in this golf tournament. So I like that.
I mean, yeah, Xander is the one, and Xander's got a clear path in his group. Just seeing as how Tony Finau's been terrible, Herbert and Kanaya are not even in the same stratosphere as Xander in terms of how they play and world golf ranking, pedigree, all that stuff. They're just not even close. And Xander's, he's got a winning record here. It's not incredible. It's 4-2-3. Plenty of Ryder Cup and President's Cup experience. I think that one's kind of easy again.
Yeah. Now, that being said, I am kind of a fan of Alex Noren, who X could get in the round of 16. I'm also a fan of Garcia, who he could get in the quarterfinals. But anyway, I mean, but let's talk about a fade here. So let's talk about a guy that I don't like in this group that's over 9K, and that's Colin Morikawa. I don't want any part of him. I mean,
total agreement.
I don't feel like his iron play is as tight as it normally is. I feel like he's kind of ready for a little bit of a break to take. Like, he's playing this week, but he obviously, he's a guy that plays extremely well in majors. I mean, he's so young. He's won an Open Championship. He's won a PGA. I'm sure focus on the Masters here in a couple weeks, but his game has just not been there right now. I said this on the betting show. I played him in a Prize Picks, Sunday play last week, thinking, okay, can he hit 11 greens out of 18 or over? And he hit 8. He hit 8 greens. This is Colin Morikawa. 8 greens for Colin Morikawa. I could have hit 8 greens on that damn course last week. Probably not. Probably not. That was a little bit of it.
Yeah,
but
you got out over your skis on that one.
But still, I mean, that's not very good for Colin Morikawa.
Yeah, he's definitely looked.
He's a spotty putter
a little bit.
Yeah, he's been out of sorts, I think, and I know, like you could say, like the chat could blow up and say, well, I mean, he got the bad end of the draw in the Players. Okay, I get it, but he has still been out of sorts the last few weeks. Morikawa, I do not want any part of this week.
Yeah, you talked about his spotty putting, that's for sure. Something else is sometimes a little spotty is a man's head. And some of y'all got spotty heads, and I'm talking about your hair. Your hair's gone somewhere in pieces, in spots. Little pockets of hair families have moved away and they're gone. Others remain, and you're wondering what's going on. And when it comes to thinning hair, you no longer have to choose between natural remedies and those that work. And there's a holistic solution for men that promotes both healthier hair and whole body wellness without drugs or prescription. That is Nutrafol. Did you know there are 5 causes of thinning hair? Nutrafol is a hair supplement that goes beyond genetics to target stress, hormones, nutrition, metabolism, and environmental factors that may be impacting your hair. Healthier hair growth takes time, and you will experience thicker, stronger, faster growing hair in just 3 to 6 months. They're clinically shown, Nutrafol is, to improve hair growth and visible scalp coverage without compromise. They got natural ingredients to support sex drive, better sleep, and less stress. Nutrafol is also trusted and recommended by more than 1,500 top doctors. You can grow thicker, healthier hair and support our show by going to Nutrafol.com and entering the promo code Tour Junkies to save $15 off your first month subscription. And just know, this is their best offer anywhere, and it's only available to U.S. customers for a limited time. Plus, you get free shipping on every order. Get $15 off at Nutrafol.com. Free shipping on every order. That's spelled Nutrafol.com. Promo code Tour Junkies. And shout out to Nutrafol. Check that out if y'all got some hair that kind of wants to walk away.
Get that natural stuff in your hair.
Sounds like we got some agreement here, though, Pat. DJ, Xander, Morikawa fade for sure. Cantlay, I don't love Cantlay's group. I don't feel as confident about Cantlay coming out of that group as you do. That one scares me a little bit more. I do think in terms of other kind of guys up in this 9K and I think Louis and Paul Casey for me are 2 names I'm staying away from. Their group is incredibly tough.
Mm-hmm.
I do think Hatton and Koepka could be interesting depending on ownership. Just looking at their matchups. I mean, Koepka's obviously coming out of that one that's going to have to face Rahm if they win. He's got Shane Lowry, EVR, and HV3. Lowry's been playing pretty good. HV3's popped here and there. Koepka flashed some form here late at the Valspar, and he's a killer. So, I mean, depending on the ownership, I could see myself gravitating towards Koepka a little bit. And then Hatton, he's got Berger that he's got to take out, but Hatton's been playing so good, and he can drop a putt. He can just completely just kill you on the greens with that putter, just like death by, titty twisters or purple nurples or whatever you call them. It's just constant, just that from Tyrrell Hatton. Every single hole, just constant.
Purple nurples.
You never heard that?
Purple nurples?
Yeah.
Are you saying like they're nipples, but they're nurples?
Yeah. Purple nurples. You never heard that?
No.
Okay. That's what we called it in my neighborhood. I don't know. That's neither here nor there, but Hatton feels like a guy that could just do that to you. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that's what it feels like. You're just death by constant. You just keep making these freaking putts on me. So, I mean, those are names I'll have an eye out on in terms of ownership. So, all right, 8K range. To me, the 8K range is just loaded with possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's hard, very hard to commit to somebody in the 8K range. I will say this. I can commit wholeheartedly to The
Why
fade.
do I get like? So I get
What?
no talk about golf, but then all of a sudden I say something about purple nurples, and somebody put something in the chat like, "Come on."
Yeah, come on. You never heard purple nurples?
I just never heard it put that way. Like you said,
Okay.
you could have said purple nipples.
Yo, you gotta
Purple
rhyme it with purple, man.
purple nipples.
See, that doesn't have the same ring to it.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. Anyway, moving on.
And there's not a color that rhymes with ipples. Um, 8K range, man, I don't know. Like, I like a lot of these guys. Now, again, you gotta check your groups. Can't play them out of the same group. Check your tiers on the bracket, right? Um, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, again, there is some. I get it that you're trying to, you know, get 6 of 8 out of the Elite 8, 4 of 6 out of the Final 4. But still, there are other point things that there are other point, things that you can add up here. Like you don't like I don't know if that's the only goal that you're going. Like
yeah, no, it has to be. You're dead if you don't do that. You're dead if you don't. If you're not trying to now four out of the final four is insane. Like that would be very hard to nail down considering all the variance in this event.
it's
Unless
so hard and but
unless this
you
thing just
get
starts
points
so
for
down the
winning
line, it's gone.
holes. Like
Yeah, I know that, dude. But
if you happen to catch a guy that has, wins a match,
it's not going to happen. You're going to have to get extra. You're going to have to get extra play out of these guys. You have to. The four out of the final four, I'm not even talking about. But trying to get your guys to the Elite Eight and building your lineups around that.
I get that. I think you're right. I just there's part of me that makes me wonder if like I wish we threw up like the ideal lineups from last year and how those look. But anyway.
Yeah, last year was nuts. But who do you like here? I mean, Sergio coming out of his group. I mean, we both don't like Morikawa, so he's playing in Kokrak, Sergio, Bobby Mack's group. So if you go the Sergio route, which I like, and I like the value there, 8,300. Then you're looking at him playing against the Answer, Simpson, Harmon, and Bubba group, which I'm a little okay with. Like, I don't like Answer, I don't like Webb, I don't like Bubba. Harmon, I like the value down there at 76. So, it's kind of a Gooch DJ situation. If I need the value and the salary relief for Harmon, then I might avoid Sergio. But those are a couple names I'm looking at. I think actually my fade here, and I think this could be a chalky play that I'm gonna talk myself into fading, and I'm gonna talk myself into saying that it's an easy fade, and that's Will Zalatoris. I'm not taking Will here. I'm not suffering through Zalatoris in a match play situation, having to putt having to make every 6-footer to push a hole, or I'm just not doing it. Like, I think Zalatoris. I want to see this guy in match play. I just want to see him in a match play situation. I know he's a ball striking stud, but I think he's the one that I look at and go, yeah, I'm not touching that one. I think his group's tough as well with Hovland, Tringali, Sepp Straka. I think coming out of that group is going to be hard to do. So I think I'm out on him. You want to get out of the chat and answer and tell me what you want to do?
Well, I do. I do want to tell you what I want to do, DB, because this is the first night, by the way, that I've gotten to mess with the chat in a while because
Mhm.
I can't see it with the
Mhm.
new system. Where were we again?
The 8K range.
Oh yeah, so Sergio Garcia, I'm
I
with you
just
there.
talked about him. Yeah.
I know I'm with you there. I like Sergio Garcia. Another couple guys here that I think are good plays in this range. Now I like actually. I sort of went with you on Tom Hoagie, but I do like Billy Horschel to come out of that group. The problem is I'm a big fan of Patrick Cantlay, and I think that Cantlay is going to kind of run through a little bit of that group. So, but I think that Billy Horschel could be a good play in that AK range. Another one that I like too, right there, is at the very top, Jordan
Yeah.
Spieth at 8,900.
He's got a really tough his group, and then coming out and probably playing JT. That's the tough part about
It's
Jordan.
tough, but I mean, you could take a little risk there. I'm
Yeah,
fine with that.
he is Jordan. I mean, I get it.
And I
I
think his
love
ownership's gonna be I do think his ownership's gonna be low because I think people, if they're looking at this bracket, they're gonna say, one, um, he could either be facing Jordan's or Justin Thomas or Kiz, possibly, who Kiz has a great record here. Spieth has guys that, if they're not paying attention, who haven't played great lately, but they're still bigger names like Adam Scott and Justin Rose in his group. I just feel like Spieth could be a really good GPP play this week, and I think he can win the whole thing. So I'm a big fan of him at 8,900 there.
Um, yeah, I love this range. There's a lot of names in here I like. I mean, and you could sit here and look at maybe who's going to be less chalky and go from there. I mean, Lowry's another one at 8,400. That if you're not buying Brooks, who's not, he's flashed some form, but he's also shown that he kind of stinks lately. And Lowry's been super good through the Florida swing, very consistent. Other than Brooks, you would argue first timer Harold Varner III, Eric Van Rooyen, not that hard to come out of that group. Maybe John Rahm gets cut off by Patrick Reed or Cameron Young or somebody, and then here comes Lowry. Like there's a play at 8,400 that could also get some action. So the 8K range to me is the one that is the most. I'm really the most undecided on. But just and there's just a lot of good guys in there. Moving down to the 7K range. I will say this: there's one name in here I'm absolutely not playing, and that's Webb Simpson. I don't, and I know Webb made the cut at the Valspar. I think he kind of puttered out over the weekend. He's coming back from this neck injury, but we said on the betting show like Webb
Yeah,
is
I'm not.
Webb to play, 2 long rounds, and he obviously had his weekend off. He had his last 2 rounds of the Players Championship off. But then to play 4 rounds at the Valspar, now to come out and play, you're potentially betting on Webb to play 5 to 7 matches if he goes all the way, coming off this neck injury. And they were already talking about him at the Players, how he was taking it easy at the Players, and being careful with his practice rounds, blah blah blah. I just, I don't know if I want to touch Webb here. I already mentioned Taylor Gooch coming out of that group with Bryson's group. I love Taylor Gooch there. I think Gooch can come out of that group easily. Another name in here that I like, and I think you and I both like, is Russell Henley at 7,900. As good as Russell Henley has been playing lately, it just feels like a really solid value. And I thought you brought up a very astute observation about Henley's pre-PGA Tour career. If you want to take all the credit on that, I think that's good to know.
Well, I mean, I think that, Henley is a guy that has plenty of match play experience before he even played on tour. When he played in this match play event for the first time, there was a little bit of a surprise because actually he played against Charles Schwartzel, who was in his prime, had won the Masters, and he beat him in one of the first rounds, and everybody was all, thought it was all great. But here's the thing about Henley. He's played a ton of match plays. He's played 2 Walker Cups. He was 5-0 when he was at Georgia in match play. Now, and they don't just play match play every week, okay? They play match play when they get to the championship round of the NCAA championship. He was 5-0. So I think that Henley, and not only that, he's got the perfect game for this course. I think he's like a quieter version of Kisner. He's not as, outspoken, but his game is, speaks for itself. He's a great putter in general. I think he's a guy that can, I think he can win this. So I do like Henley a ton this week.
Yeah, I also kind of like Neiman. I mean, we talked about the betting show, these 2 guys playing in the same group, but whoever wins that group in group 14 is going to play group 3. And group 3 is one with Hovland, Zalatoris, Tringali, and Straka. And I can't figure that group out. I'm probably going to fade that whole group. So to me, I'm definitely going to have lineups with either Henley or Neiman. I think I lean Henley a little more. I saved $700 on DraftKings with him.
Yeah.
But I like both, and I like that group coming out because group 3 to me is a complete just crap show. I'm going to stay away from it. So Henley's a name I like in here. Who are some other 7K names that we're digging? Brian Harman, we both talked about on the betting show. He's at 7,600. Harman, where's little Brian at? He's in Answers Group, playing with Webb Simpson and Bubba Watson, Group 15. They are going to run it. The winner of that group is going to run into the winner of Group 2, which we project to be Sergio Garcia. Obviously, you've got Colin Morikawa, Jason Kokrak, and Robert McIntyre in there. I mentioned this on the betting show. Harman, played really well at the Valspar, had a chance he made a late surge on Sunday, was in the conversation after his round, basically said how great he felt his game was, how excited he was to play at Austin, how much he loved the match play event. And, was ready to go, was ready to be the man at the WGC match play, was really confident. And I like that. 7,600, very good price tag there for Brian Harman. So I wouldn't pair him with Sergio, but other than that, like I can pair him with DJ. I can pair him with plenty of names out there. Xander, I can do that. So I like Brian Harman a good bit.
Yeah, I don't mind Harman. The opposite side of the bracket there, the two guys that really in this 7K range I tend to focus in on are Taylor Gooch, who you mentioned, but Max Homa. I like Max Homa a lot. If he gets through there in his group and past DJ, which is going to be tough, he will have to play Gooch, but you get past that, and he's right there in the Elite Eight there, playing against Rahm. And that may be all you need out of Max Homa to get to that point. I think he's been playing great. You look at his recent form is good. So I like Max Homa a lot here. And then you're getting him, right there at 7,700. It's a good spot for him. And I think he's got that same sort of killer mentality that you need to have in an aggressive play also in match play.
Continuing to look here at the 7K range, like 7,500 Patrick Reed. We talked about him in the betting show, and I kind of was throwing him out there as a potential group bet to win his group. However, if I'm looking at him in DFS and I'm looking at how he comes out of here, do I think he can find magic and beat Jon Rahm? Possible. Do I then think he's going to go on to beat possibly Brooks or Shane Lowry? No, I just don't. Like I don't think his form has been that solid. And one of the reasons I kind of came to that, I was like looking at the rest of this range, and I'm like, really, from Brian Harman for me, there's not really anyone else I'm crazy about until I get to Keith Mitchell, maybe at 7,100. We talked about Keith Mitchell a good bit. I know you love Patrick Cantlay, and he's in Cantlay's group. But I was trying to talk you into Keith Mitchell a little bit there, I let you have that one, and we picked Cantlay for the group bet. And then you just brought up Max Homa, and you really liked him in DJ's group, but I really like DJ, and I let you let me have that one back. But I think Mitchell at 7,100 is another one, just as good as he's been playing. I'm not gonna probably have any. I don't have any interest in Cantlay. Or probably Seamus Power either. That's a really tough group for Seamus Power to come out of. So I could see a little Keith Mitchell there at 7,100. Other than that, that's probably it. People are probably going to love Cameron Young at 7K, just the value against Jon Rahm. That's fine. I don't know that I'll do it, but it's okay. Anybody else in the 7K for you?
No, I think that's it for me.
All right. Who you got in 6K range, Pat?
Well, I think there's a couple guys that you could look at here. One, and if you're taking a guy here for one, I'll say this: you're taking a guy that you think is going to upset his group. One of those guys that I think could possibly do that, just because he's always good at match play. He's a European guy that's played a ton of Ryder Cup, has a ton of experience in match play, and that's Ian Poulter. He's sitting there at 6.
You could say Justin Rose.
I think Justin Rose makes a little bit of sense too, but Ian Poulter is in a group with a great player right now, like Scotty Scheffler. He's in there with Matthew Fitzpatrick. He's in there with Tommy Fleetwood.
He is not coming out of that group.
I think that could happen. I think it could happen.
Anything could happen here, but that is tough. That's really tough.
I mean, I'm just saying, like,
that's a murderer's row there, buddy.
do you have a guy in here that you like? You honestly like? Or well, here's another guy.
Yeah.
I do think Tom Hoagie could
Yep.
come out of his group.
Yep.
I do think Sep's 7K. Sorry, he's barely on the bottom there at 7K. I think Sep could come out of that group. Um, the other guy that I will say also that could possibly come out of his group is Seamus Power at 6,700.
I don't I don't think he is either. And I like Sheamus's skill set. I like what he does. I
But I love Cantlay. That's the problem.
and
But I
against
just feel like
Cantlay,
he could like he's the one that like. All right, here's the thing: when you're looking at your NCAA like basketball brackets, you're looking at a guy or teams that you think could just blow up the whole damn thing. Seamus Power to me feels like he could just blow up the whole damn bracket.
dude, it's Cantlay, it's Keith Mitchell, and it's Sung J M. Like it's not just Cantlay. That is a tough group to come out of. I don't see
Yeah.
Sheamus getting out of there. Yes, anything could happen. We've seen it, sure, but I think Hoagie is the one that has the best chance to come out. I think he's got the weakest group that he's dealing with Billy Ho, Minwoo Lee, and Thomas Peters. He's the one. I do think there's another one in here that we didn't talk about on the betting show, but just from a DFS standpoint, the value is enticing. I gotta find his damn group. Where is he? Where is? Oh, damn it! I can't find it. $6,200 Maverick McNeely. Where's he? Where's his group? Oh, here he is. Oh, he's in Neiman and Henley's group. So Neiman, Henley, Nah, and McNeely. I mean, it's not like McNeely's a stud. Outside of the West Coast, it seems, but um, he is. He's interesting. It's 6,200. I mean, Neiman and Henley, I like. I like both of them. I mean, I do. But I think he's way more likely to upset those guys than Power is to come out of that group, just because of the other three he's up against.
Here's why I think you need to do what I talked about earlier with Brett. I think like we got a comment in the chat here a minute ago that says that DFS is frying me this week.
Oh, poor Ryan.
Way complicated. Probably just do a few outrights. I can actually, I get it. I get it, Ryan. I feel you here because there's a lot of different. There's a lot of different factors that we don't have to always look at when we're choosing our DFS lineups.
Just let it out, guys. Just let it out in the chat. Let it out.
Here's why I think you need to go through brackets yourself. Go forwards and backwards. It's like looking at a putt when you're playing golf. You're looking at it from both sides. You're looking at it from behind the, from your straight on angle. Then you walk around to the other side and you look at it from the other direction and see how this putt's going to break. I think you got to go backwards and forwards. Do your brackets and just figure out, who are the guys that I like, and then how can I fit them into a DFS lineup regarding their price. That to me is the easiest way to think about it. Don't think about ownership too much. Don't think about all these different factors of, how the game's different and how many matches they can win and whatever else. I just feel like that's the way to go about it this week. I really do.
I'll tell you what I like doing, and it involves that. It's the bracket. So I'm going to throw this graphic back up so people can see it. All right, so I look at each one of these two-tier groups, right? The groups that are going to meet each other in the Sweet 16. And here's how you start to narrow it down. Just start with a bracket. Don't even look at prices. Just start with the bracket and pick your two favorite names in each group and write them in the next line. So I'm going to go here for me, the group that we're looking at, group 1 and 16. I'm going to write down John Rahm, Patrick Reed at the top, right? I'm going to write Rahm and Reed. And then I'm going to go to the next group and I'm going to write Koepka and Lowry. And then do that for all those groups. Now here's where you can get, here's where you start, it starts clearing up in DFS. Now, when you go to set your DFS lineups of this little, this square here, this Sweet 16 square where you have Rahm, Reed, your two favorites in group 1 versus Brooks or Lowry, your two favorites in group 16, pick one of those guys and put them in a DFS lineup. Just pick one. You can only pick one. Pick one. Put them in a DFS lineup. Go down and do the same thing on these other groups. And start to like see it and understand it that way from the DFS perspective. And that'll help you start to narrow things down a little bit. You look at each group and say, these are the 2 guys I think have the best chance. And then that'll just start helping you kind of see how things can shape out. I get it. It is an interesting week, but we can embrace the variance and we can embrace the fact that there are going to be plenty of people who are still going to do lineups and shoot themselves in a couple of different places. And you can have a slight edge when you do that. Now, less and less of those lineups are happening as the years go by and people get smarter and smarter and more content comes out about this. It's a lot, it's a lot harder to get that leverage, but it is still happening for sure. So I don't think it's one of those weeks where you fully avoid it. I think you embrace it. So hopefully this helps somewhat. And if you need more information, get in the Nut Hut. You know what I mean? Get the Nut Hut. We'll help you out. We'll for sure help you out. Also in the Nut Hut right now, if you just want to make money easily, well, that's what we're doing with Prize Picks, and that's what we've been doing in the Nut Hut. Pat's dishing out winners on Fantasy Golf Sommelier. AC's in there every single night or for every single round, writing up his picks in the Nut Hut. Hell, I'm even making money on the Nut Hut right now in Prize Picks. So Prize Picks is legal in like 28 states or something. I mean, it's stupid. It's the place to go. It's daily fantasy made easy. You pick 2 to 5 players. You pick an over under on their projection. It's player props, and you can win up to 10, 11x. It's you versus the projected numbers. That's it. You can do mixed sport entries. So you can take the over on LeBron and you can take the under on John Rahm in the same entry. They offer every kind of sport you can think of: golf, baseball, soccer, MMA, NBA, everything you can think of. Award-winning, easy-to-use mobile app. The app is incredibly awesome, easy to use, stupid easy. It's just the best, man. Prize Picks is the best. It's the best legal way to play if you're in states like California, Florida, or Texas. And they offer safe and fast withdrawals. We love Prize Picks. We really do. And so we're putting out more and more content with Prize Picks. It's easy to do, and you're not having to worry about competing against other entries and ownership and all that crap. Let's all make money together. Let's find some props that we like on Prize Picks. Let's put them together and let's make it happen. Pat, you're great at doing that. You love Prize Picks, don't you?
Yeah, I love it. It's amazing. And like I said in the betting show, I think you wait. I think you hold off on that first day, and then because Corrales is the contest that they have this week, and then you pounce. You pounce like a tiger.
They may have WGC contests. Who knows? They may be working on that. They're an innovative, forward-thinking company, so they may have.
They throw up stuff last minute. It's great.
They do. I made up money I lost last week in DraftKings all on Prize Picks, so it's lovely. Check that out. We'll have all the Corrales content in the Nut Hut if you want to get on that. Remember, the WGC starts on Wednesday. Everything starts on Wednesday for WGC. Corrales starts on Thursday. So you're going to want to make sure you do that. Again, leave a comment, YouTube channel. What kind of early Masters content do you want to see? And how many times a year do you play golf? I need that in the comment section. So thanks to everybody for listening. Thanks for watching. Let's have a great week. May your screens be green. Hit us up with questions. We're here to help. See ya.